Hey, this is Brian. Thanks for watching Keys. In today's video, we have Miguel's brand new G90 M5 fresh out of his break-in service, and we're going to do some dynoing with the car bone stock, but we're not going to leave it like that because we have an opportunity to add about 70 horsepower and 80 foot-pound torque by installing a dÄHLer performance module. If you watch the channel for any length of time, you'll know we've installed these on a ton of cars, from my G80 to my wife's X7 M60, which happens to have the exact same engine. We've used these ourselves for years upon years, and they have been absolutely amazing. These are 100% plug and play. So if you ever want to take it out, you want to sell it when you sell your car, whatnot, you have the opportunity to do so. They're engineered in Switzerland, made in Germany, the utmost quality product that we are proud to put on a G90 M5. So let me show you step by step how to install it on the car. We'll do a couple base runs to see where the power level's at. Then we'll plug in the performance module and take this thing to the moon. Let's start out with the install. So included in your kit, you're going to have your performance module, you're going to have a block-off plug, and then the plug-and-play wire harness. This process is very easy and will only take you a little bit of time to do it. As far as disconnecting the battery, it's not necessary, but you are welcome to do it. What we like to do is just let the car power down, take the key away from the car, just let the car go to sleep, and you're going to be totally fine. Let's go through some of the sensors just so we can give a high-level overview of what's going to happen, and then we'll go through in detail what goes where. So first off, let's talk about the connections. As you can see, it's plug and play. What you're going to do is you're going to take various sensors out. There's only 3 sensors you need to touch: power and ground. Super simple. You unplug the sensor, you're going to plug it into the female section over here. Then you're going to take this section here, plug it into where the sensor was, and that's done. From there, all you need to do is just route the wire where you want it to have it out of the way, and you'll be good to go. We have a boost sensor down here on the charge cooler. We have another boost sensor on the other charge cooler. Under the engine cover, we have a crankshaft sensor. Then, like I said before, we just have power, ground, and then we're ready to run this thing on the dyno to see what it can do. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to start by tapping boost sensor 2, which is the one down here. This is the longest wire. Once we're done here, then we're gonna shift over this way. Now, the module itself is going to be mounted in this location over here. So what I'm going to do, just to hide the wire a little bit better, I'm going to start over here, route it underneath. We'll go over this way, and we'll route it over here, just totally out of the way. Now there is a brace up here. If you remove these 2 bolts over here and then the E-Torx, it will make it a little bit easier to get to, but for most situations, it's not necessary to remove the bracing. What we need to do is we need to get down to this boost sensor right over here. The way that these work is if you take a pick tool or something, you can pop it up like that. Then what you can do is simply press down on that white tab. Sometimes it's helpful to have a pick tool or something to guide it out, and that's going to pop off just like that. Then with your plug and play harness, you're going to take this side, clip it onto the connection we just removed from the vehicle. Make sure you hear an audible click. Then what you're going to do is press that little white tab, and that is locked in place. Then you can take the other end and you're going to plug that into the sensor where we removed the factory one. Okay, so navigate this in here. Okay. And once you get that lined up, clip it in, snap it in place. And you can take the wire and just pull it back a little bit, just like this, to get it out of the way. And we're going to secure that later. Now that you're a pro at boost sensors, let's do the exact same thing on the other side using boost sensor 1. Okay, so same thing over here. It's located down below. A pick tool will be your best friend. So I have the factory connector off. I'm going to start with the same side I did last time. Clip that in, lock it in place. And you can navigate this down here. Okay, clip it, clip it. I actually think this side's a little bit easier than the other side. Next, we need to get to the camshaft positioning sensor, which is located underneath the engine cover. So what you want to do, very carefully lift up around the perimeter. You're going to hear a series of grommets pop up. Never just grab it and yank it, because you will break either the cover or the little clips, but here's a better shot of what they look like. Just these 5 little rubber grommets. Next, we have to get to our camshaft positioning sensor. It's located right here, directly next to your fuel pump right here. So again, use one of your trusty pick tools, pop the white tab up, and then very carefully pop that up. If you can get your hand in there, that's great. Otherwise, just go from the bottom, release the tab, and then this will pop up. Okay, and that's what the connector looks like. All right, for this cable, I'm going to route it under this way. Keep going. And again, if it makes it easier, you can remove things like your air box, but most of the time you don't need to do that. First thing we're going to do, pop the sensor in here, lock that in place, then clip in the other side of the harness. Make sure that it's fully clipped in, lock it in place, and you can just press that back down and take the slack out of your wire. Next, what we need to do is we need to get power and ground. Your power is located over here. So simply pull up on this little cap. I'm going to remove it, and I'll show you why in just a minute. This is a T50 Torx. So simply loosen this, and you can slide this in like that, and tighten it back down. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take some cutters and we're going to modify this a little bit. Some people leave the cap off, some people like to cut it, so a lot of times it's personal preference what you end up doing. But with the wire there, it's not going to shut correctly unless you do modify it. Okay, so then you can take this, snap it back down, and reinstall the little holder on the back. Then for the ground, you're going to use the BMW factory ground location, located right here. Slide this in and tighten that down. All right, the last part of the process is to mount the actual performance module. Typically, we like to mount them right over here. If you would like to mount it in a different location, you are more than welcome to do so. I don't love the idea of putting it back here because with these new hybrid systems and whatnot, it looks like there's a lot of electrical components, so I wouldn't recommend there. But we are going to show you how to do this. So before I can get to this, you can see I have a lot of extra cable. So I'm going to wrap some of this up off camera. We'll make sure everything's zipped up, nice and tidied up. And then I'll show you how to plug everything in and how to mount the performance module. All right, so now that my cabling's in the correct position, I'm going to just apply a piece of tape over here. Make sure that you don't have any grease or anything on your air box. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to get this here, mount it up top just like that. And then when we want to have extra power, all you do is just plug this in. But I don't want extra power because I'm very curious to see, before we do anything, what the car makes stock. So what we're going to do, we're going to install dÄHLer's block-off cap, which basically doesn't do anything. It doesn't go through the performance module, so it's going to be factory performance. So let's put the engine cover back on, we'll light up the dyno and see what this thing does stock. All right, we just did 2 runs back to back with the M5 on the dyno. As you can see, for the horsepower to the wheels, we did 676 and 678, so very consistent on the horsepower. I love how smooth this is probably the smoothest graph I've ever seen on any car. With the torque, again, stupid consistent. 721 and then 723. So let's plug in the dÄHLer performance module and see what we can get these numbers to do. All right, we just got done doing 3 back-to-back runs on the G90 with the dÄHLer performance module plugged in, and as you can see, the results did not disappoint. Throughout the entire range of RPM, what we saw was an average of a 70 horsepower gain and about an 80 foot-pound gain throughout the entire RPM range. If you look over here at our peak numbers, we did 747, 740, and then 746. So again, very consistent. And for our torque to the wheels, we did 782, 774, and then also another 774. And as you take a look at the gap, you can see how early the power is coming in and how long that power stays, making this thing an absolute powerhouse. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it is absolutely pouring outside. So the humidity in this room is through the roof, yet we still delivered some great results. So all in all, I absolutely love the dÄHLer Performance Module. It has such a great impact. And as you saw, it was super easy to install. We actually have the same exact one on my wife's S68 driven X7 M60. We've had it on the car for over a year, and we personally love it and use it every single day. So I was super excited when they came out with the version for the G90 M5 because it is a total game changer and the results don't lie. If you're looking to go fast in your G90 M5, there's a link down in the description that'll take you to all the products we used in today's video. And if you have any questions or need any help, just email my team at info@kies.com, Kies.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.